Alrighty, here we go again. Welcome back, gang. You know what we do? I'm just gonna tap right in, yeah? So, late last night, early this morning, I got this sense of like a monitoring spirit or, just some kind of observation taking place. And, having felt this energy, I decided to sage. And then I just thought to myself, okay, wait, let me find out what's actually going on. So, I come here to my table and I decide to pull some cards, right? And of course, you're gonna see these cards in the image. So, the first set of cards that I pulled is the Queen of Cups upright, and then the Four of Cups in reverse. And at the back of the deck, it's the Moon card. So, just looking at these three cards, I mean, like I'm saying, it's late at night, early in the morning, the moon is up, but it's speaking to, I think there's some kind of intercession that's taking place right now. And with this intercession, it's, I'm even thinking about Archangel Michael, how there's like some protection as well happening. And I just like to thank the angels, the guides, God, angels, ancestors for protecting this reading. Once again, before I proceed, 122 on the timer. Yo, thank you all for being here. Welcome to the Daily Spread. It's Roots Holistic. It's it's G3E and we're on Roots Holistic. Goodness gracious. But anyway, you know what it do. I'm just so led to like giving this reading and I feel like there's so much to say. So again, let's just jive right in or jump right in. So I don't know if there's something about dancing over here. But yeah, I think, there's like a tapping, a stepping type of an energy. And I think maybe that's that intercession, things are moving. But anyways, at the back of the deck, it's the Moon card. And I see that in the background, this energy is actually trying to gain a greater understanding of the collective, of who we are, what it is that we are doing. And how that also came through is that in this Queen of Cups card, you actually see this lady with her eyes closed and she has a mirror in her hands. For some reason, it was coming through as like a crystal ball or like some kind of like scrying mechanism. I'm getting that some person is using some form of like divination to observe or look into the collective, right? And with this message coming through, I'm also seeing how this person is like a priestess in a sense, like they too are gifted, or they might be getting the services of someone who's gifted so that they can be able to see these things. It looks like, or it seems like they're actually on a mission to fill their own cup by trying to observe your moves and your actions. And I'm also seeing like the smoke here, and then with the mirrors, like smoke and mirrors as well. And as we know about that, it's like, again, the illusion, the confusion, lifting of this veil. And that's why we have the Moon card here at the back. So I definitely see that there's something that is shielding this view, shielding this interjection, this, cross watching, trespassing. Just this unauthorized access or viewing that is not necessarily being allowed, but something is interceding or interjecting with that. I got my peppermint tea today or this morning. So yeah, let's proceed. Do let me know what you're drinking, in the comments. 4 or 5 on the timer. But next to that, of course, Four of Cups in reverse. I think with them now not necessarily seeing everything that they need to see, they are now needing to make a decision from the little bit that they have seen, the little bit that they have sensed. This person is quite intuitive, or they are getting assistance in their intuition, right? And from the little bit that they know, they are now trying to scramble or make decisions, or having to accept that this is just how far they are going to go. And it's like their power has limited or decreased in a sense. When I'm thinking about the Queen of Cups, I would think about it as like a maternal figure who is like loving, compassionate, and caring. Whereas in this case, it kind of looks like it's very much selfish. Again, I was getting that priestess kind of an energy. And with both of these figures in these cards having their eyes closed, it looks like it's a very self-serving energy. That's what's coming through right now. Okay, so just to proceed with this, I went and pulled, two more cards from a different deck. First deck, of course, being the Third Eye Tarot deck, and the second one being the Osho Zen Tarot deck. And from this deck here, I also pulled two cards, and it's the Mind Upright and the Conditioning card in reverse. So with the Mind card, it looks like, this person is definitely scrambling, a lot of thoughts in their head, outcomes, possibilities. I think that very much follows nicely from the Four of Cups. It's because they would like to know more, they would like to see more, so that they can be able to interject or intercede, and I'm getting this interject and intercede from two ways. It's like your guides and your angels are protecting you, interjecting in the situation or interceding, and then they are interjecting from trying to disturb your blessing, your anointing, almost like trying to catch your blessings before they make their way to you. It's like if they can catch like 100%, then you only get like the remainders, what is being drip fed, or like the remains. It's like somebody gets the whole chicken and you just get the bones, type of a thing. But anyway, I proceed. 632. This person is again scrambling. I think they're trying to figure out a new way or a new approach as to how they're going to get through to you. And I think something has happened that is now ultimately like blocking their crown or their third eye because of this ability. So there's definitely, again, like, the stopping or the blocking of this unauthorized viewing or access. Yeah. I'm also getting, in like what Disney fairy tale is it where they speak to like what that mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? It's giving like there's this energy of trying to present as being holier than thou, or holier than others. But if you think about a sock with a hole, it just reveals is tanned, it just reveals your bare foot. So these people's feet are going to be shown, it's gonna show them their false steps or their missteps. And even then in I think, is it Snow White, right? And even then in the Disney show, when they were asking, the mirror, these questions, she was hoping to see herself in the mirror, but ultimately she was seeing a different character in the mirror, all the blessings and all the love and anointing and abundance that was awaiting Snow White. If I'm getting it wrong, guys, please do correct me, but I think it's the message, right? And I'm thinking that this person has now, in a sense, like tried to do like destiny swapping, where if they can see your blessings, your abundance, where it is that, you are being led to next, then they can like get in the way of that. So now they are confused because, with this Mind card, it's like not having that view or that access. They were like kind of betting on being able to see what you were up to so that they could make their next decisions. And they realized now, at the back of this deck, it's like I'm seeing the outsider, and they were now, wanting to gain access, wanting to gain entry. But with this card, I mean, I'm seeing the gate, I'm seeing this child, I'm seeing the lock. I'm just seeing that access has been denied, They are not now being allowed to go any further because it's like judgment is being called. It's like a barrier or a boundary has been set to say, this is only how far you go. You cannot go any further. Going next, right, the Conditioning card in reverse. I'm seeing this lion. I'm looking at the sheep as well. I was kind of getting that like Strength card, but also, there's that deception, that wolf in sheep's clothing, or, in this case, a lion in sheepskin. So it's so interesting how it came through as like this deception is over. This lion or this, darker entity or animal that was masquerading or having this facade is actually being opened up or being seen for what it truly is. Even now as I'm speaking, there's something I wanted to say. There's a channel, a download that came through and it escaped me. So I'm also seeing that they are trying to escape. I'm also looking at how in this card this lion has the sheepskin roped onto itself, and it actually has killed the sheepskin just so it can have it on its back to pretend that it is too is a sheepskin. But it's like their escape is this revelation, or their attempted escape is this revelation, and they're actually being shown for what they truly are. Before I started this reading, also I was led to doing some book divination, and I opened up the Bible, and I landed up on Matthew chapter 26 verse 31 to 35. And what that says is, which I think relates so very much to this, it's so crazy how Spirit comes together with the message. Thank you, Spirit. It says, it's a short chapter, and it says, Jesus predicts Peter's denial. And it says, then Jesus told him, this very night you will all fall away on account of me, or on the account of me. It looks like, again, there's a rap sheet, there's like a file or case files. So there's something about an account or multiple accounts of things going awry or wrong, disturbed in a sense. But sorry, let me proceed. So it says here, Jesus told them, this very night you will all fall away on account of me, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. And again, here we are seeing a flock of sheep, and in between this flock of sheep is this Decepticon, this construct. I'm even thinking about how a transformer will take shape and form, and they try to masquerade or pretend as if they were also like one of the sheep, but they are being exposed. And it proceeds to say in verse 32, but after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee. This gives me the sense or presence of how steps are being divinely guided, the path is divinely orchestrated, there's a divine order taking place, and there's an angel going ahead of us, the collective, that is actually going to preserve or secure our path, our journey, because it's protected, it's shielded. Verse 33 goes and says, Peter replied, even if all fall away on account of you, I never will. And it proceeds to say now in Jesus, I tell you the truth, Jesus answered. This very night, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. Verse 35, but Peter declared, even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you. And all the other disciples said the same. So if I put this chapter or these verses into context of this reading, I'm getting the sense that once this revelation or this truth is revealed, these people or this group or community, particularly maybe this individual, who's doing this scrying or mirror magic or, just observation tactics or methods, is going to deny that they were actually doing these things because they have been caught out. It's giving like a little child who, let's say, put their hand in the cookie jar and they've eaten all the cookies, and then when they're being asked like, hey, where are all the cookies, they will say they don't know anything, but if you look at their mouth, you see all the crumbs, you see some chocolate on their hands, type of a thing. And I'm getting the sense that, this particular group of people might not necessarily be in a position of owning up. And again, if we are predicting the denial right now with this reading and further confirmed by this message from this Bible verse, it's like we are getting a sneak peek as to how they are going to receive us having received this information. So I'm thinking it's about not expecting too much out of these people. And perhaps now with me even seeing it below the 4 of Cups card, it's like accepting that they were presenting this facade or this masquerade, But again, I'm so glad that we are protected. I'm so glad that we are being shielded, and again they are being kept outside, so they don't know what's happening within this dome, within this circle, within this space, and they are very much curious as to how things are unfolding, how things are shaping up. On the other side of this, I decided to split the deck again. So now we're looking at like a opposite energy, or more into the energy of the collective, I would think, right? So the next set of cards I have here at the back of the deck is the Four of Wands, and the three cards next to that is the Nine of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Cups upright, as well as the Four of Swords upright. The very first card that I was like, certain and sure was, like linking this whole reading together was the Four of Swords. Because again, like I mentioned, this came to me in the nighttime, in the early hours. And in this card, you're seeing someone resting, someone sleeping. It's like they're on a cloud. And it's like in the night times, we get these downloads, these messages, these dreams, these revelations about the people in our lives. And it's almost like prophetic visions, or telling tales of different stories about how people are doing things that are trying to either get close to us, get to know us, or just kind of interfere sometimes. I think in some cases it's even just curiosity, but I'm just getting the sense that that there's a lot of messages coming through in the nighttime, and it's a call to journal, it's a call to write down our dreams, and actually make sure that we get enough time to rest so that we can heal, recover, restore our bodies, our minds, and actually parlay, engage with our spirit team. I'm also looking at these swords here, and these swords have golden handles, and we were thinking about the alchemist journey and how the alchemist turns lead into gold. Ooh, confirmation burp. And in this case, it's like you are going to transform these visions, these downloads that are coming through to you, and insights, intuitive hits in and from your resting. I think there's definitely very high power taking place right now. And of course, I'm also looking at these four swords forming a barrier. There is a presence of multiple different guides from different places, spaces, dimensions, perhaps even timelines that are showing up to ensure that this destiny plays out and plays through. I'm getting something about a prophecy being fulfilled, like the destiny being fulfilled. I'm even thinking about there's this movie, Bahubali, and it speaks to how a fall of an empire and the rise of that empire once again. And even when people are taking the crown or taking the throne incorrectly or unapologetically, with the wrong intent, with the wrong reasons, the true king, the true queen will still rise again. So if you have not seen that movie, definitely check it out. I was pleasantly surprised that an Indian movie of that level was created. And then again, I think it also speaks to this Four of Swords, is to say the more time you spend in introspection, in self, you'll discover and learn more things. So here I am also expanding my my movie watching, my palette of the things that I would consume. I'm also getting something about elephants as well. Even this morning I got a download about Ndlovukazi, which means grace, elegance. It's a Zulu word, and that just might be a strong element or presence right now. We were also getting this elephant presence a few days ago in the reading about charms and arms, where I had pulled out a few charms, and there were two elephants there. So again, it's coming through as an animal spirit or a guide of sorts, and I think that's why it's coming through with this card, because I mentioned you have many different guides who are helping and supporting you at this time. But again, I spoke to the two other cards, which is the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Cups. So it's like all this worry, this stress, this anxiety is ending. And these swords that they were trying to put into your back are actually, like we see with the Four of Swords, actually now meant to be your protection. It's like they were trying to turn your guides, your spirit team against you. But now your movement, which is, this card in between these two, your movement towards a higher path, towards your calling. And ultimately, I'm thinking about the judgment card, or to you going towards the light. I'm thinking about the star card as well. Your path towards your stardom, your calling, is actually what is turning the tides on this whole situation, making sure that the swords fall out of the back. So the end of fear, worry, concern, and anxiety, such that now is transmuted into your protection and what it is that you're using to ultimately shield you going forward. So I definitely see that this is a time like where energy is being called back, and it's like you're recharging for this new era or this new phase or timeline that you are going to be leaping or leapt into. It's like jumping. I'm getting an image of a kangaroo right now. All right, and at the back of this, like I mentioned, there's the Four of Wands. I think this is because there's a homecoming. They try to, I'm thinking home within ourselves as bodies, but also home is in like a place where you can enjoy your riches and your abundance. So there's a homecoming right now, and as you are making your way home within yourself as well as outside of yourself, as we know, what we do within reflects outside of us. It's like that is where they were trying to get in the way of that, because now things are starting to take shape, things are starting to take form. There's a coming together, there's a spell that was cast, but now it's more towards light, towards expansion. I'm actually seeing like there's, in this card, it looks like there's a phoenix that's rising from these intentions, these agreements that are now being made. And it's interesting how I was saying that there are 4 guides, and here I'm seeing 4 arms, and it looks like, different races or different shades of arms. These 4 guides are actually coming together to help create this new home, this new idea, this new space for you to occupy. I'm being led to look behind that, and behind that is the 10 of Wands. You are actually going to be able to drop all your burdens. It's the 10 of Wands in reverse. You have carried things that are not for you to carry, taking on other people's responsibilities or burdens, and now it's your opportunity to let them go. One more, Spirit. And again, it's leaving things in the past, not lamenting or spending time focused on things of what was, and now you're going to be able to focus on what is. And I say that because I'm seeing the 6 of Cups in reverse there. All right, so to further expand on this, again, coming back to the Osho tarot deck, in the image, I will try to separate them in such a way that it makes sense as to also why I'm reading them in this way, so you can also get like the flow of the reading. But yeah, I think you'll see, you'll make sense. Just check it out if you feel led. But of course, you can listen as I speak these beautiful words and these beautiful prophetic words and predictions into you or to you. So yeah, further to that, at the back of I split the Osho deck again, right? Just like I did above, as above, so below. That's coming through right now. But yes, so I split the deck. At the back of the Osho deck, we have friendliness, 2 of Cups in reverse. We have nothingness. This is a major arcana card. I was getting like hermit kind of an energy from this. I was getting like something about like coming out of the void, because this nothingness card is like completely blank. But also with the number 5, I'm also getting like the Hierophant as well. Yo, tarot community. Oh, I think that there's a oracle tarot reader as well who might be listening or cross watching. And yeah, drop a comment if I'm right there. But yeah, that's like the number 5 that's coming through. And then next to the nothingness card, we have the flowering card. Both nothingness and the flowering are in reverse. So again, like I was saying, I was getting something about like if it's like the hermit, you're coming out of this void, coming out of this isolation in a sense. And this worry or concern from this group is that you will ultimately reject them. You will no longer be friendly to them. And it's because the energies were not matching, it was not reciprocal. And it's like, yo man, this is actually kind of deep right now. I can just tell that there's like something that is again veiled or not being seen altogether. Spirit, give me a card. Yeah, you know what, like it's very much coming through like they were trying to block your flowering, trying to block your bloom. And they are better off seeing you in this void, seeing you in a place where you have not integrated your power. You know, I'm looking back at the Four of Swords again, where I was mentioning that there's an integration of your strength and your power taking place. It's like they don't want you to see the full picture, the full world, the full like encapsulated view of everything, you know. I'm also thinking about me saying encapsulated. It's like, again, things were kept in a form, a capsulized form, trying to minimize, trying to reduce it into, you know, nothingness. Again, here we go with the nothingness card. It's like they were trying to get rid of you. They were trying to take you out, gang. Let's just call a spade a spade. They were trying to take you out because they didn't want you to flower. They didn't want you to be in your, the flowering here is the Queen of Pentacles. They didn't want you to be the most grounded queen. They didn't want you to bloom or blossom or even take steps ahead from your heart. I think you are very much led from your heart, and with all these flowers, all this integration, all this blossoming, all this abundance, it's like, if we can keep you in the void, if we can take you out before you know who you are not gonna, experience the full spectrum of life, the full spectrum of joy. Getting a rainbow energy right now as well. I mean, these cards have all of these colors in them. So it's also speaking to that integration. It's like they were trying to cut off your connection to your guides, certain chakras, certain gifts as well, that is ultimately now getting in the way of, you embodying this greater or highest version of who you are. But again, I'm being led to this, conditioning card in reverse. Whatever conditioning that they try to do, it's like repeated actions. That's why we were even reading about these accounts or this rap sheet that they have of all their infringements, all these things that they've done wrong is now actually going to blow up in their faces. And that's why we have the mind, of course, over here with this, flustered or congested type of an energy, because they're trying to like figure everything out. I'm even thinking about a sinus being congested. It's like it's all up in the nose, and the nose is close to the mind. So definitely some kind of clearing needs to take place in that regard, right? Or yeah. I'm even thinking about it in my case. The throat chakra is also connected to the nose and the ears. So definitely keep that area very clear. The sinus is also how we perceive a lot of things. We're smelling certain things. So if we can stay clear, then what goes to our brains, the energy or the information that our brain perceives is also clearer. So definitely a call to, clear the sinus. And that ultimately that whole tract, that whole cavity right there. Then I, was just wondering, like, but why is this all happening? And the Osho deck, like, as I was just shuffling, a bunch of cards fell out. And usually, when a bunch of cards fall out, I usually put them back in because I feel like it's too much. But in this case, they were like, nah, take them all, because it is so much that has happened. It is so much that is happening. So depending on the time that you receive this message, it could be predictive in the sense that it is still unfolding, or it has already happened and this is a confirmation of the recap of what has occurred, right? But anyway, I'm just gonna go left to right with all these cards. Just one moment. Also clearing my sinus real quick. So the reason why this is all happening, and it touches on the previous reading, so definitely do check it out, because 2 cards from the previous reading also came out, which is the adventure card as well as the existence card. Then okay, let me tell you what all the cards are, then I'll kind of read them one at a time. I'm getting something about like, speeding through. It's almost like a Spitfire reading's about to happen right now or something. But anyway, we have adventure upright, existence in the reverse, integration upright, thunderbolt upright, control in the reverse, past lives upright, as well as completion in the reverse. So because you are on this adventure to discover yourself and who you truly are and your existence, which was once hidden from you, this is all happening because there's an integration taking place. You have brought a balance. I'm also seeing, different spirit guides, different animals coming through. And again, there's a cycle that's coming to a close. I'm also seeing the snake biting its tail, which is Ouroboros. So because of this integration taking place, there's actually a tower moment where things that are not serving, things are not meant to be in the structure or in this place are falling apart. Things are being burnt away. There's a lot of divine intervention taking place at this time. There's a lot of thunder. So there might be a lot of rain as well. Moving on with the control in reverse, that was the Thunderbolt card, by the way. Moving on in reverse, the control card. So people are losing control. They would have wanted to maintain control, but also I'm getting that it's because you didn't like to be controlled, or you might not be someone who likes to be held back or constrained, and there's a release, or there's these releases of multiple stages of control. I'm looking at this as multiple layers of deception that are being revealed or put through. And why this is happening is because within your past life there were many things that were done wrong to you, and it is in this lifetime that you were meant to actually bring balance to the scales. I'm also looking at this as like an hourglass where time is ticking, and that is because, again, you are getting all the puzzle pieces and they were trying to perhaps get in the way of you completing the cycle. So it's like this is the lifetime where you have the opportunity to complete that cycle, and this is why all of this was happening, to restore what was occurring, or this injustice in a past life, and this control, or what was usurped, what was taken away from you. And it seems like it was taken away quite violently, with this Thunderbolt card. But it's you tuning in, knowing that you too are the temple, that you can be the structure that everything is forming from or between. I'm also looking at how this Thunderbolt card is in between these 7 cards. And it's like you holding true, you holding strong. You are actually grounding this energy, not just for yourself, but for these previous timelines, for these previous versions of you that had to struggle, that had to fight, and then also for the new generation that's to come, such that they don't have to face the trials and tribulations of these past lifetimes. So with all this integration, masculine, feminine, spirit guides, sun, moon, yin, yang, like, you get it, it's a lot. There's so much layers and an amalgamation that's taking place because of this wheel was turning, and at each turn of the wheel it just kept building and building and building and building. It's actually giving me like the snowball effect right now, where once the snowball hits and crashes, it's all gonna blow up. So there's definitely, again, a thunderbolt, a tower, a crumbling that's going to take place right now. And it's because they needed to take back this control, or remove control from what was once done as an injustice to our past lives, where we were on a path to completing our journey, or understanding the journey of magic, the fool's journey, which is speaking to the tarot here. So yeah, I think that's the message. Interestingly, it came through in this way. I think there's definitely something in here for you if this message found you. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day. Do let me know if this resonated with you. And yeah, I just see 34 on the timer. And yeah, we're gonna leave it right here. Thank you, gang. Thank you, team. Have a beautiful day. Love and light is spread your way. Peace, gang. Yay, yay.